Welcome back to the Sports News Analysis YouTube page, where I'm previewing and predicting every game here in Week 16 for the NFL. So be sure to subscribe to my page here on YouTube to get all of my videos delivered directly to your inbox. The Cleveland Browns will travel to Denver to take on the Denver Broncos this week. The Browns come in with a record of 5-9, the Broncos with a record of 11-3. The Broncos, having won 9 games in a row now, have put themselves in a pretty good position for the 2 seed in the AFC. Although they have to win out to ensure themselves that 2 seed. They have 3 losses. The Patriots have 4. Should the Patriots win out and should Denver lose one of their last 2 games, if they're tied, New England would get the 2 seed by way of beating the Broncos earlier in the season. The Broncos at one point stood at 2-3 after a loss to the Patriots and have reeled off 9 in a row. And have done so in very impressive fashion. And you've heard all about Peyton Manning, his resurgence, him meshing with his receivers as the year has gone on. You're now seeing Knowshon Moreno come to the forefront the last 2 weeks, going over 100 yards in the last 2 games. You saw them go on the road last week in Baltimore with a very impressive win. But not many people are talking about the Broncos defense. The Broncos defense has been, in my mind, just as impressive as their offense. They're letting up just a little bit over 90 yards a game on the ground. And I think even more impressive is that, well, that's an impressive stat, first of all, but they're only allowing around 215 yards a game through the air. And when you consider all of the games they've been up in, where teams have been playing from behind and have been forced to throw the ball, I think that's an extremely impressive stat. And why is that stat the way it is? Well, 2 things. First and foremost, they're able to put pressure on the quarterback without blitzing. And that is very important as far as protecting the back end of any team's defense. Von Miller, Elvis Dumervil, those other defensive linemen, they're just great. Von Miller and Dumervil might be 2 of the best 6 or 7 pass rushers in the NFL. And the Broncos have them on the same team. And you're seeing them get after the quarterback, especially in situations. They've been in a lot of situations this year where they could kind of pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. And I think you'll see that not only this week, but that'll be a major thing that'll kind of play out in the AFC playoffs. Whether they play a Brady in the playoffs, whether they play a Schaub in the playoffs, I think you'll see them, that pass rush, really make a huge difference. As it has for a lot of teams in their playoff runs the last 4 or 5 years. The Broncos are at home. They've clinched the playoff spot. They've clinched the division. If this was any other team, I would think maybe they'd take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. But I think Peyton Manning has these guys thinking longer-term goals. I think Champ Bailey on the defensive end has that defense thinking of longer-term goals and knowing the importance of playing well going into the playoffs. And secondly, knowing the importance of getting that bye. They've won 9 in a row, but as far as a bye goes, they haven't clinched anything. So I think you see them come out very motivated. Maybe I think they still commit to Knowshon Moreno as they have the last 2 weeks. Get him going early, maybe get him over 100 yards again. Let's face it, if he's able to remain consistent and the running game is able to remain consistent, think about how much tougher that makes the Broncos offense. Think back in Indianapolis, those years when Peyton Manning had Edgerrin James in the backfield. Think about how much more productive and unpredictable that offense was, and that was maybe one of the best offenses of all time, that offense. Not saying this Broncos offense is, but it's certainly one of the best in the league, and I don't think there's any denying that. As far as the Browns go, the Browns come in with a record of 5-9. I don't think people were expecting many more than 6 or 7 wins out of this team coming into the season. They're starting a rookie quarterback that has gone through the typical maturation that rookie quarterbacks do. Again, I think when you look at him, you look at Ryan Tannehill, they're experiencing growing pains that typical rookie quarterbacks do. And I think they're kind of getting a bad rap because of the success that Wilson, Luck, and RG3 have had. And, I don't know if Brandon Weeden is the long-term solution in Cleveland. I have a different feeling about him than I do about Tannehill. I think Tannehill will be all right long-term. I'm not sure about Weeden because just when you think Weeden's turning a corner or there's a game where Weeden should play good, like last week against the Redskins, who have a pretty bad pass defense, Whedon comes out and plays like he did early in that game, and before you know it, the game's pretty much out of hand, and the Redskins are cruising to a pretty easy win, considering they had a backup rookie quarterback starting for them at Cleveland. And I think that loss and the way they lost, most importantly, had to be disappointing to the Browns fans, and hopefully it was disappointing to the players as well. Still to play out over these last 2 weeks will be the fate of Pat Shurmur, and also maybe even Brandon Whedon as the quarterback. I mean, there's Joe Banner and whoever is the coach next year, whether it's Shurmur or another coach. Do they believe in Whedon long term? We'll have to see how that plays out here. But the only conceivable way I see Cleveland having a chance to win this game is if Trent Richardson absolutely controls the game, goes completely off, and has a dominating performance. Because I think if you put Whedon in any situation against these pass rushers where he needs to win you the game, I think that's a bad formula for the Browns. The spread in this game is -13. I like the Broncos to win the game, but I like the Browns to come out with their normal good effort and not give up. So I like the Browns +13, but I like the Broncos to win the game outright at home in Denver. Get one game closer to clinching that 2 seed in the AFC. I think they want, and to a certain extent they need, to rest some of their veteran players heading into the playoffs. So I like the Browns +13, but the Broncos to win outright. Catch all of my other videos here on YouTube. Subscribe to my page, and always hit me up in the comments here on YouTube, and catch me on Twitter as well, @SNewsAnalysis. Thanks, guys. Bye.